This is Fitch's Structured Finance in Focus. Straightforward insight without the noise.
Hello, and welcome to the latest Structured Finance in Focus podcast. My name is Kevin Kendra, Managing Director and Head of North American RMBS. Today I'm joined by Susan Hosterman, Senior Director and an RMBS Ratings Team Leader, and Peter Stavropoulos, a Direct RMBS Operational Risk Team. In this episode, we'll be discussing Fitch's view on a couple of recent underwriting trends we've seen, and then we'll also be introducing Fitch's U.S. RMBS Originator and Aggregator profile reports. Let's get started. So, Susan, we recently published our Market Trends Quarterly, and in there we have a couple of articles that talk about changes that we're seeing in the mortgage underwriting process. The first article is about cryptocurrencies. What are we hearing there?
We're actually getting a lot of inquiries from non-QM originators as well as non-QM issuers who are looking to use cryptocurrencies as one of their loan products. Especially, we're getting inquiries about them using crypto and not converting it into U.S. dollars first and using that as liquid reserves to qualify the borrowers. We do have some concerns about this just because it's not typical assets that we typically see, and especially because they're not being converted into U.S. dollars liquid assets.
So how are we going to actually view that in our analytical process?
Sure. In our analytical process, we're going to be looking at each on a case-by-case basis, looking at the operational risk reviews of the originators and the issuers to see what their comfort level is. We're going to be looking at how they're addressing the risk associated with this product. We're going to be looking to see that they are applying sufficient haircuts to the crypto so that we can feel comfortable that the crypto is being converted to a sufficient dollar amount and it's not being too generous.
I assume that we're also putting some sort of limitations around how much we're seeing or what we could be.
There will definitely be concentration limits as well as potential rating caps and analytical adjustments being made.
Great. And the second article was more about debt service coverage ratio loans. What are we seeing there?
In the DSCR space, we're not seeing an increase in the credit box, but we are seeing new programs being added. One of the programs that we've seen recently are DSCR loans with asset depletion. This allows for borrowers to qualify for loans that typically may not qualify based on the DSCR ratio alone. These borrowers could be high net worth borrowers, but their properties are not producing enough cash flow for them to qualify, or they could be in high tax areas. As a result, they're using their assets to help qualify for the loan and bring the DSCR above 1. We do have concerns with this product because the borrower wouldn't typically be able to qualify based on the cash flow of the underlying properties. So we're taking a conservative approach, and we are going to be using the rent that's being supplied by a third-party valuation firm and recalculating the DSCR using that number. Great.
So let's shift gears. Peter, we also have an article introducing our profile reports. Can you tell us what are the Originator and Aggregator profile reports?
Sure, happy to. They combine facts and figures about the originators and the aggregators, along with the Fitch view, which is what we publish with our presale reports, which have our commentary on the entity, originations information, valuation information, risk information, all into basically very, very formalized like reports so that a reader can actually compare one to another very easily.
That sounds pretty useful. What do we plan to do with these reports?
Well, we've already published them on our Fitch Ratings Pro website. We've got a little section there. We've published 9 originators, 7 aggregators. We have 3 more in process. Eventually, we're going to be adding AVMs and TPR firms as well.
That's great. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Susan, for your comments. And thank you all for listening. For more information on RMBS underwriting trends or our new operational risk profile reports, please visit our website, fitchratings.com, and also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and Apple.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Fitch's Structured Finance in Focus. For more episodes, subscribe on Spotify and Apple.